to share like, oh, Bulldog released this, so this one, no, you guys forget. I mean, inputs.
So let me ask that, or we'll get into a conversation.
Go ahead.
So when that happens, and somebody states their case, and they are right, they go nominate the person.
Oh, no, so. Okay, Robert, you are here. How did your hair change from white to red all of a sudden?
Is that time of the season?
Right. Yeah. Each time is the VGMAs, this guy's hair turns red. Wow. I wonder when it will turn blue.
No be juju be this.
Okay, Rob.
Yeah. So
listeners,
I was going to say something funny.
Pay attention. This is the only players here for Newell.
So basically, it's an opportunity for people to, if there's any omission that we have done, because you remember last year, for example, there was submission made, but we didn't have adequate information, and then later on it came up, and then we had to include it, right? Yes. So some of these things, they do happen, and because we work with people and people give us information, sometimes they give us information based on only what they know, and if what they know is what we have, then if it's inaccurate, then it's inaccurate. All right. So once you publish the information and it's out there, everybody who maybe contributed to that part of that body of work can clearly talk to us and tell us, oh, I have not been acknowledged in this particular field, or this particular song was produced by this, that kind of information. We can have that. And once we have that, it becomes easier to be able to, amend or adjust or revise whatever information that has been put out there. So that's one of the things, facts that are checked, and some of the things I realize that it's not appropriate or it's out of its place whatsoever. Just give us the information, and it goes back to the system. Everybody within the space who's supposed to make a decision will review the information that has been shared, and if we need to be able to revise the information that has been published, we will revise it. If we don't hear anything after a week, then we will just work with the fact that everything here has been certified, and so forever hold your peace.
Wait, so you mentioned, excuse me, the statement states that, or says it has a 1 week window.
Yes, Chief.
Do you think it's enough?
Well, this is the first time we're instituting it, so we can never really tell whether it's enough or not. Who knows? It might go, if there's a reason for it to go to 2 weeks from next year, it might go to 2 weeks. So we have a week's window. Based on what we think our system in Ghana, things don't keep too long on the airwaves, so we believe that within a week it should be fine for people to be able to share whatever information that they have.
I see. Well, so are you okay now?
Not necessarily. So I want to talk about a category like Record of the Year. That it's not necessarily about numbers and streams and all that, So let's say I'm making a case for Vanilla, that we dropped a record. It's a good record. Have you guys listened to it? The song with the Medica is a good record. We have Gangsta. There's a lot. So have you guys listened to it? And when we get there and we have this conversation, those who are going to decide, who are the ones who are going to decide? Because that space is not for public, where you say, okay, Vanilla doesn't have this required number of streams, it doesn't have this kind of following, or people did not, all that stuff. How is that going to work?
Okay, so at this particular point, with respect to that, it's still whatever parameters were used will still be used if you're asking for that kind of review, But it's mainly for the corrections of information that are very obvious, that we don't want to preclude people who are supposed to be included. So if you should make a submission of this nature, the necessary parties will do their listening if there's any merit to it.
Okay. So with regards to that particular category, what are the what is the category? The description of the category. What is it? What does it say? And how many people? So, because I know you have the board, you have the academy.
No, this is just the board that's going to be doing their work.
Only the board?
Yeah. It's got nothing to do with the academy, and the general public come into the space when it's time for voting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one is just the board?
Yeah. I think one of the things that we may be doing from the 25th edition of the VGMA is to get into the sharing or working on sharing the information that we use behind the doors for evaluation. You understand? That's different from, because when you read the category definition, what you see is more or less what defines who a winner is, not necessarily what defines
what goes into
exactly
nominations.
Exactly, because some of the things it's a bit elaborate. It's not everything that's there. You understand? So one of the things that we've seen that there's a need for is to be able to have this booklet that has all the information, so you understand that this is what it means when we say maybe new artist. What are the elements that goes into it? Then you have it there. That is different from the general category description that you see when somebody is supposed to be voting, so to say. So because we're just speaking, I realize that information is also important eventually. So for the 25th edition, we'll probably be doing that.
So again, if I'm on the case, on the Vanilla case. So I want to make a case so you listen to his stuff. You know, where do I go? What do I do? Do I call? Do I come? What do we do? Is it the same channel that we
okay, so let me actually one of the key things, what you've said, your question is very valid. It's what's in one of the topmost things as being one of the reasons why we wanted to do it. But I'm listening to it and I'm thinking that I'm sure if there is a need, that could be done, but I can't say 100%, so I just don't want to promise, you know. But what really we know is the fact that somebody has provided information, like let's say Vanilla's work, assuming it's been nominated, and then there is no information on who produced it, and there is no information on this, and there's no information on that, and then at the end of the day, somebody is crying out there that I have not been recognized, I have not been, you know. So we need to be able to add them because it's their works, their intellectual property, they need to be recognized and all of that, you know. So those are some of the things we are looking for, and if maybe some data that was submitted that is wrong, and then we have projected it and we are projecting all the wrongness, we need to be able to correct it because history has to be written right. You know, we don't want any mistakes out there and stuff like that, you know. But having mentioned your aspect, I think it's one of the areas that certainly is worth looking into. You know, so
Yes.
Conversations will be. I will table it for conversations, and if there's any feedback, I can always do that.
Please, because I mean, we have good records. You know, again, we are not the numbers because we're coming up, but as for the record, and especially like a vocal, male vocal and all that. I mean, Charlie, nobody they sing past that boy for Ghana. You know what I'm saying? So you should. We want to. Since you are saying you're opening a week for, these are things we want to come. You know, and look at, you know, that listen to the boy, listen to his vocals, this, that, so that, you know, we get on the table. So we'll open our ears for when it is. I don't know when it's starting, today, tomorrow. We want to know the process.
As for the so in terms of data changes, corrections, removals, etc., all of these things active now.
Okay.
Because it was announced on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. So we announced it on Saturday. So we are continuing with it until, you know, the end of the week when if we don't get anything yet. But this particular one, I'll have to give you some specific information on that.
Okay.
Slim?
I think over the weekend I saw the nomination list, and I have to big up my people in Kumasi. Amazing. Yeah, this time around we've been represented right, and in some of the categories too. But I believe once we have a week to also submit, I don't want to say much because I also believe that certain categories, certain artists should have been in there. It's also been, you know.
Like who?
I want to ask this question real quick. Can we also, you know, tailor our concerns with respect to some of the categories and who we think should have been nominated? Is that also an option?
That information, I think, for me, I don't. No, what is there has been published, and some real work, a lot of work went into it. Anybody who says
the categories are now sealed,
yes,
but then information,
yes, but if you feel, what I do is this. A project of this nature may have ideas coming from everywhere and anywhere. And we don't want to say that don't submit. No. Maybe your submission could trigger something new that can, even if it doesn't work now, it'll work next year. You know, because it is these things that change what we have and make it better. The scheme is a living scheme, so it cannot be the same. It's not that you can't just say it was like this 5 years ago, so it's going to be 5 years, because things are changing within the industry. So if that kind of argument exists, as for the listening ear, if nothing at all, that's the first thing we'll give, and then maybe even try to understand where you're at, and then if there is a need for any explanation, we'll be able to clearly work on that. And then if at the end of the day, whatever decision is made, it should also make you comfortable, because we are all stakeholders in this particular business.
Fantastic. So my is best hip live song category, and I think Kumerica made us proud in there. We had J Bad, we had Kweku Flake, we had Amrado, and
For the hip life?
yeah, best hip live song. J Bad with the Anajo song. And I believe that is one of the biggest songs in the country as it stands now. Yeah, I mean, amazing talent. The issue now comes to how the scheme also recognizes the Asaka Boys as a group, as a music group, or as individual artists. That is also one of the questions that were.
What are they? How are they projecting themselves?
It's a group.
Okay, so then that was one of the things that were buzzing on social media when these nominations came out. People were like, "Oh, so that can Asaka Boys be now nominated on solo basis or as a collective?"
Group,
you understand? So
If you have your song in there, and the song is yours, we'll nominate you based on the fact that the song is for you.
Okay.
But that's why we're saying that information we have is what we work with.
Okay.
But if there is something that we don't know, so maybe that song it doesn't belong to J Bad, maybe he's the one doing the lead.
No, it belongs to him.
No, he's just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just picking information that were
good.
on
So
social
then
media.
you inform us, and then
Yeah.
it's done. And then once we do that, then throughout, because you see, the people are scattered across the country, different places. We don't have relationship with everybody, but obviously it begins from a particular point. Elsewhere, you have record labels doing submissions.
Yes.
So
that makes it easier for you to get
so
the
they give
correct
you all
data.
the filler.
Yeah, all the data.
You
yeah,
understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So what we have is peculiar to this country, and so we need to be able to understand that this is what we have, and then find ways and means for it to work.
Yeah, undoubtedly this year, I think the best hip live song category is one of the toughest categories. If you ask me, last made a fantastic gentleman who did an amazing job.
So we should stop asking you, because if you're saying
if you ask me, it's one of the best. It's one of the best categories. Very, very tight competition in there. Medical with Stubborn Academy, J Bad with Anajo, DJ Breezy, Amrado, Kweku Flake. I believe people on social media, I was picking the information that people are leaning towards last mid a lot more the year under review. But I believe it's a J Bad year. I mean, if we're looking at some of the records, it's a J Bad year. If we're looking at some of the records that he dropped. Oh, why? Simaku Dabro Saka, then what's up? It's a J-Bad year, back-to-back hits. I mean, last year, I don't know if the issue that they had with the VGMA was because of the issue that they had with the letter that they put out. That's why they were not being nominated and all that. But I believe...
Was there anything like that? I don't think.
No, that was last year, right? That's when I let me better about shouts to my brother Portfolio though. Yeah, but after that I believe issues.
But it didn't stop the VGMs from
nominating them.
I know the thing of the past. So let's just move on. Because if we are supposed to open that box, there were so many things in there that I'm not sure we're reading. But I'm just saying.
But for me, what I know is that there was nothing like that. Oh, that's why I keep referring to Robert. Are you aware of anything?
He's on the board. Are you?
That's not the case. I'm
just saying you're reassuring him that nothing like that went on.
Yes,
and that's what I'm trying to say.
But
so
then serious issues there. If that's the case, then serious issues there. Because I mean, last year they had some of the biggest songs in the country. I mean, undoubtedly, let's.
But you put out a letter, and so what? If you put out a letter, how does that stop a board from nominating
you?
That one there.
I'm
doing too much of Robert's work.
Let me just avoid all the assumptions.
Perceptions, okay.
If you if you say you don't want to be a part, we can't force you. That's it. That's one. Because
then it's because of the letter.
Oh yeah, and then the nature of the scheme is that you have to give us your consent.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't give us that, then
have they given you it?
Oh, this time? Yeah. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't put it on.
Okay.
Because what that consent does is that you are giving us the power to be able to put out your name, your works, and associate
your
with the
images
scheme.
and all that.
Exactly. for the purposes of the scheme. We don't want to just get up and do this and you come and but who asked you to? Charlie, you can imagine a certain Buddha.
Thank you for
Now
clarifying
understands the law.
I mean,
You go make you chalk 11.
Yeah, because I was not my dream who power say so why were they not nominated last year? Is it because of the letter or because their works were not submitted or it wasn't that
one of the
popular?
things I'm commending Charterhouse for and the scheme for is the fact that they are listening. And we had this short discussion on UTV, and I think Arnold raised the point, or somebody raised the point that the something, and I said, look, if they're going to go by that, it means that the only faces we're going to see on the scheme is going to be just the old folks, because they keep putting out works constantly, and we will not have new
people.
Yeah. And I like the direction that the scheme is going. It means everybody that once you do the work, you'll be recognized. And that platform is huge. I like what you guys are doing with the Unsung this year as well.
Nice.
It's like a huge improvement from last year. So it's a good thing. I'm hoping next year, you can get all of them into a studio, do some sort of a song, so they do like a proper presentation on the night. I don't know if it's happening this year. It's happening this year.
Fun enough, it was one of the things that was on table, but I doubt that. But you'd be great.
It would have been lovely, because on the night you have performances, so just to give them that opportunity for everybody else to see them, they have a song together, maybe a 5 minutes, everybody chops off some whatever, then boom, So let's look at it. It will happen. I'm sure.
There are a lot of questions coming in for you, especially Robert.
Sure.
Okay. Ebenezer Ansah says, how can Therapy by Stonebwoy be nominated for Most Popular Song of the Year, but Fan From by DJ Azunto couldn't make it? I'm laughing like killer. Okay, so I'll take them one by one. There's another same question by Nanado. Nanado.
Yep.
Ken from TV3. He says, how is Fan From not the most popular song? Mintia CEO. And look, I'm doing Robert's work here, but
so let him answer that.
Yeah.
If it's not there, then it means that so we have streaming numbers we work with,
Right.
from Boomplay, from Spotify, from
iTunes.
what do you call it? Even YouTube and all of that. We put them together. So you must have had, and right now a lot of people are active on the space. A lot of Ghanaians are putting their music out there. So we clearly know that people are putting their works there. So yes, if you dominate that particular space, the data will clearly show. And then we have information that we gather from the streets. By streets, it simply means maybe, it's some community, you go to parties, you go to weddings. Like one of the biggest songs on all wedding platforms is Champagne. So you may see some streaming numbers. And then when you check what happens on the streets, because technically, when we say streets, we classify all the non-streaming platform, non-airplay platform as streets, so to say. Yeah, so it's happening there, it's live. A lot of people are jamming to it. We want to be able to get a sense of that. So we talk to DJs and committees, we get on-air personalities, we engage them. We have researchers in the various regions who give us feedback on what song is banging. Then we have on airplay. That we have those who do the monitoring and they give us feedback on what songs are performing well. So we combine all of these elements, and then you're now supposed to say which songs are the top 10. In fact, some data I saw, there were songs that I saw topping the charts in the north, and maybe in some areas I also saw songs topping the charts in Volta, but they didn't cross over. And I saw songs that crossed over, and stuff. Like you would see all of these things, and now you put everything together. You're supposed to make a decision. So yes, you may be in the list, but you are supposed to cut down. And once you are supposed to cut down, some may make it and some may not make it. So that's if anybody doesn't make it, that's a reason.
I just got some street information that. They say DJ Azonto.
Nana, can you please excuse us?
DJ Azonto.
Then be very quiet.
He interviews child pass in streams. And that's what the information I'm getting on the streets. So just to answer Nanado, DJ Azonto is my guy to
interview past streams.
The streams, But again, look, the question is valid because that song was huge.
Yeah.
And it's still huge.
No, yes. the reason I'm saying was, I'm talking in terms of the category closure, because they've closed it. My point is, if you go on TikTok and you look at the numbers there, it's huge.
Crazy, yeah.
Crazy numbers. So, and also out here, on air, and you know me, my on air no be here, it be even everywhere be on air. So again, if you look at the songs there, they mentioned one other song that is supposed to be there, and they felt
No, they said therapy is there, but not.
Good. So therapy wasn't loud on air like
Final Form.
like Final Form. Yeah. So now the people are questioning that. Okay, so when we go into the streaming world, we'll have more numbers there for maybe therapy, because Stonebwoy has the following.
Yeah.
So this is where we need to balance it, because again, somebody might not be so fortunate digitally, but on ground and on air they are like huge.
But
how does the scheme?
Azonto Nanka saw here a lot of the service, because the song there was a bootleg version or something. There was some party vibe that dropped earlier before he did the original song, before he entered the studio and did the original song. But the viral one was the
most popular.
The most popular. You understand? So it might also affect his streaming numbers a little bit, because the person who uploaded the first one was not himself, like DJ Azonto. You understand? Because there was some party vibes where he do the Final Form for Inside, that be all. And that one went viral. That was on all the social media platforms before he did the original song. So it might also affect him a little bit. I'm just saying. I don't know how they decided, but
I'm looking at how the scheme will address something like this, you know.
So there are things that I usually don't want to open up some of the conversations of the board, because they're meant for it. No, I'm coming. But what I will tell you is the fact that the decisions that have been made were based on certain specifics. Now, offline, I will show you some data that I have on my phone, and you can clearly see. So I have it here. When you check this particular thing, you see that Easton, for example, he's number 6 here. And then when you come here, for example, and you're checking top 10 national, it doesn't appear here. Right,
Rob, please use your mic. So
you understand what I'm saying? Yes. So this is.
So it's regional before you
exactly.
Cut off. Okay.
So there's regional, there's national. It doesn't appear when I do even the national top 10. The inside, and then you now go to the streaming numbers, and which also goes to corroborate what we have. Then you now go to the streets. So maybe big in the streets, yeah, big, huge, and everything. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't make the cut, it's not that it's not huge. It just didn't, perform as well as the others.
I think you see the qualm with a lot of people is this information. I mean, you're doing a fantastic job. I mean, your predecessor tried as well, did a good job, George. But I think that there has to be. I like what you guys are doing now. Maybe next year there has to be a week before you maybe announce, or just after you announce. There has to be a week of information. What you guys go through, because people assume a lot. They think that you just sit down. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that process has to be televised.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. People foresee them.
Especially the most popular song category.
Noted.
And then wait,
I like the way
and then check this out. I know, because I've worked with Charterhouse, but I know the work that goes into that yes. You have a wide look. You have in every region you have representatives. The academy is everywhere. It's huge. Now, why are we not getting these people? And you guys can do it because you can afford it. There should be some sort of a documentary, maybe after the awards. Speak to these people, then let them talk, so that people know. Okay, hey, Charlie, so this went into that went to this. It gives the scheme some huge feet or some flesh.
Knowledge.
Yes, so that people will understand. Next time they don't sit there and some 3 people meet, and that is why that is why people have issues with individuals. Some individuals that sit on the board because they know, okay, this guy know they like me, so if he go there, my team no go show up. But it's not about the individual. You understand? Yeah. So I think
I've had my fair share.
Yeah, I think that it's important. Yes.
Is it also not possible
But wait,
No,
what's
it's not.
possible?
That some boys go
No,
feel
it's
meat
not.
for one side.
I'll give you an example.
Sabotage.
No. I'll give you an example.
What are you talking about?
Yes, I'll give you an example.
Just to let you know.
Yes, the year that 55 won, we won 2 awards. Yeah, we won New Artist of the Year and won Afropop. That was the year they actually even introduced that. Now, I work there, so anytime I see my boss will be like, hey, you no go win anything. But we had gotten a nomination, so we're like joking. He sees me on the hallway, and people they don't go win anything. So you sure we'll go see? And we won. So check this out. He's like the chairman on the board, though. So if he had any power, maybe, But what we did was we voted. So we worked for it.
Should I tell you something?
You tell me.
Get saved for the.
That's what I'm saying. He just
man,
sit there,
the man, he did there.
He be prop.
The talk.
He be prop.
Because what he talk, the whole.
Yes, he be prop. So imagine if I was that dumb. If I was that dumb and we didn't lose, actually
Allow
we
the
lost.
gentleman to be
I would like, he being do no. But so these are the things that it's so. I know it's mystery that you're gonna, but it's important for the scheme. It actually makes it big so that everybody else speaks.
I get you, and there's quite a number of thoughts in that particular space as well. Because one of the things that we even wanted to do this about was a bit late, was to hold a session on a session that says, who do you think should be the artist of the year? And let's have a conversation and make your statements. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was a bit too late for us to be able to. They were supposed to have done something like that. That we spoke to Andy for him to be able to hold a Twitter space session with us, and then we'll just do it. But it was a bit late. But we are looking at the situation, like you're saying, like a week to time. Then we have that kind of huge conversation. So what that even means is that if for any reason, Fela Dewe it's not captured, because you see last year. Well, this year, what we did was to include a particular slot in the submission form that says that if there's any extra information that you want, you should be able to submit it. We got just a few people submitting, so which means that there's still a lot of information that we don't have. So anything that can give us information to be able to work, we are open to it, because the truth is, this people here. Most of us don't document stuff and don't share information. Like information is not readily available. You sort of always have to look for it. So this is one of the things that we also want to be able to do to see how we can, let's say, make the scheme more informative, so to say, so that in terms of decision making and what comes out, it makes more sense.
That's not bad. For me, I think
okay,
it's
so you've
good.
not spoken.
Yeah, I think it's great, and it will help reduce that noise. That too much talk after the award is done. Because a lot of people feel you shouldn't have nominated this, you shouldn't have done that. So a week before the awards itself, take place for informations like this coming up is good. Like you said, this is the first time you're trying, so you're starting with a week. Maybe going forward, it will be more than. But in all, I believe that is to curb some of these controversies that comes after the program itself. So I believe that it's an opportunity for artists and stakeholders to argue properly for what they deserve, because clearly you've shown that you might be able to, it might not be, you might not be able to satisfy everyone. But if you have a concern, or if you feel maybe there were some things that were overlooked, then clearly you can come on board. You guys have the platform to give to them, for them to express themselves, and then you see the way forward. So I look at it from the angle that it's a growth for the industry. And in all, it will help, like Boo said, give the scheme more elements to become better. That's how I see it. So people shouldn't sit back, or the stakeholders shouldn't sit back, and then later on come and complain who deserved that and who didn't deserve that. We should take this opportunity and make good use of the 1 week, whichever way the controversies will still come. But if you feel you have something to say, there's a good platform. A week is even good. 7 days, at least if you have something to say, you just have to argue well.
Yes.
Okay. So we did. Rob, you ready for the challenge? You ready for the drill?
Which one?
Once he gets to the awards there, It looks like you are the most busy. This guy, apart from a Akufo-Addo, it be like, do you get sick sometimes, or after the event?
God, it be like God, they understand. So when we finish,
Wicked.
and you see, sickness doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing.
Sometimes the body needs to rest.
The body is telling you that you need to rest, so it will, make you inactive. I'm speaking like Bulldog right now.
Wicked.
I feel like I'm speaking like Bulldog.
Funny enough, somebody just posted me and say, meet Wugod of Boaz, who thinks that when you have God in your life, you cannot catch depression. Because I said that on television. Then check what he says. He says, depression comes in many forms and ways. It has nothing to do with having God or not. Mm-hmm. Then he goes on to say, Jesus Christ himself
was depressed.
If that one kill me.
Jesus was depressed.
Yeah. You go tell God, say, if it is possible, let this cup fly over. Yeah, but I still disagree with him.
But so Jesus,
yeah, he doubts in Jenny. If you look at the thing, they say, so there's a gas song. They said everybody had assembled and they said they want somebody to go down and help people down. And he raised his hands. There's a gas song. And again, no more. There's a gas song like that.
Yeah, it's scriptural.
Good. Yeah. So if you raise your hands that you were going to die for people, then you go die, you say waiting.
So meaning the story, no the click.
No, I'm not the talk show. I'm saying, as he come as human, no, something come,
You don't understand why.
It's like right now. We all know that for sure. The thing they go talk, you have to respond the same way. If you know, so then we can't get. There's this thing, deja vu. We all know for sure that we'll die. And then, me, I won't die. I beg say that. So when your time reach where they go die, you say waiting. Die and go. Which God for which cap? Maza.
So right now, who the fight plus?
Oh no, I know the fight plus. Funny, the guy.
So the other thing is let me just quickly add that one as well. The voting pattern has always been in terms of the weights. It's been 40, 30, 30. 40 for the public, and then 30 for the academy, and 30 for the board.
Repeat it.
The voting pattern has been 40, 30, 30. 40 for the academy. 40 for the general public, 30 for the academy, and 30 for the board. This particular edition, it changes to 40 for the board, 30 for the academy, and 30 for the public.
Why
40
that?
for the board.
40 for the board, yes.
Okay.
Why that?
One of the things we are gaining a lot of benefit from is improved research and information. So then what it means is that people are more informed now. You haven't gathered. So for example, you can clearly see who's performing well in the various regions and all of that. So it's not a matter of how you feel, how you think. You understand? It's heavily on improvements that is coming. So once improvements are coming, then it means that when you wield more power, you are able to execute it in line with what is factual and can be backed.
But again, you see, people have had problems with the percentages, because if somebody won, the public has 30 now, right?
Yeah, so which means the public will end up having 30.
Yeah, so now it means the public has actually lost 10%.
Yeah, so it's public 30.
Yes.
Academy is still public anyway.
No, it's not.
Like, still
Semi-public.
Yeah. Because they don't work with.
Slim, you are part of the academy.
Yeah, I understand, but
it is still that amount.
Again, so because we're talking politics, so that is where the problem is. You understand? So if the academy gets 30, yeah, and the public gets 30, that's what 60.
Yes.
So in fact they have 60.
They
now.
still have 60. Yeah.
Then the board has 40.
Yeah.
It means they have less.
Have less.
But that 30 for the academy, Charlie.
But you won't take.
No. The academy is where a lot of the artists have issues.
Really?
Yeah. So let's say you have an issue with.
I beg, let me listen to this one because maybe some new fella.
So you have issues. You know who you have.
Academy inside,
yes,
so, yeah.
You know you have issues with who you have, and maybe you brought your feeling on board. You're not looking at it from a no feeling point of view.
Okay.
And you add your feeling.
Well,
straight away you go sideline the person. You understand?
So does it mean
So I don't like Andy Dusty, and I'm Academy. So then your song comes, no matter how big it is. Oh, guy will. And if a lot of people have that feeling about you, it means you're losing that 30% in that academic
especially if you have. If the artist gets some issue with somebody who is very influential,
so you want you want us to reduce the academy's weight to 10%?
No, not necessarily. I'm just telling you the reality. I'm telling you the reality on the ground. I'm telling you the reality on the ground because I understand both worlds. The creative doesn't understand that place because maybe they gave Slim a song to play, and Slim was not quick about it like the way they wanted it to, and then they have issues with Slim because they feel that Slim favors this person. So from that day they go, Slim be my enemy.
I understand you.
Yeah,
I feel I understand what you're saying. Except that when you have more numbers when it comes to people within the space, then it becomes an individual's vote as compared to over close to getting to 200 or something.
But there are creatives who have a lot of problems with a lot of people.
Then sorry.
Oh, but then they're everywhere.
At this point,
that's why as creatives you shouldn't have issues with board members.
Academy.
Yes,
especially the academy.
Yes,
especially.
Don't be picking phones and be making unnecessary live videos and be shouting on top of your voice.
Don't
keep it undertone.
I like this. There's a video of Bukom Bank who say they screw everybody in wife. When they screw your wife, don't voice out.
Why?
No, everybody is a suffer. So don't voice out. So that's what you're saying. Don't come talk anything.
Yes.
Keep up.
Just be quiet.
Yeah. No, don't voice out. Don't voice out. We no care.
Me, I did my small corner. Even was it last year or the last 2 years? Even me, I wasn't really active on the board. Me, I know they go meetings. I did my corner. Then some guy can write say sick of me. He don't get nomination. I'm like, meeting baby. It is like Bonsam and Jesus. And DJ Black and Sammy B Day Joy FM. Those people, the fool. Sammy B say he be devil. Where he go God in there say God. See, some guy go drink and we go for gata inside. He say be me. What I do? It's a baby,
no, you see, I think we've not given the devil the opportunity to speak. He needs a platform. No, he needs a platform to explain himself.
Yeah. So you want us to give him opportunity?
Yeah.
You get the power to speak.
Oh yeah, why not?
Listeners, we have an interview with the devil tomorrow.
Yes.
What time? 8 a.m.
Yes.
8 a.m. Tune in.
The guy, everybody lay in problem on. Yeah, it's just a fair.
I
won't talk.
Hosted by
you won't talk.
Oh, you be the devil.
Maybe you'll be on that seat.
No.
You can represent.
I'll have a conversation with him after here. If he wants me to represent.
That is what I was saying the last time. That I believe that there are 4 wheels at work. The wheel of the devil. There is a project where devil go do this be job he won't do, and there's a wheel of man. You decide, you get it done. You go and step on the street, the car knock you or you drunk, and then whatever your will. Then there's a will of nature. If you want to bring hurricane, whatever, tornado, so you could do what they want to do. And then there's a will of God. God's agenda as well.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for me, these are the 4 wheels at play, and we just need to understand them and then how they work.
We believe that the world is being controlled by 2 spirits. The positive and the negative.
And also,
That's God and the devil.
No, and which is true.
So any negative thing that happens to you, you attribute.
Me have listened to a preacher who says devil be any baby. We are only
which is true as well. All the views are true. But like electricity, you need the negative and positive to produce.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's forces or I don't know whether it's spirits or forces.
Now, force is this reason. Someone on one side, force is this reason. They are the same. They are the same realm.
Forces is size.
Let me read some. Let me use this opportunity to read
spirit as well.
Spirit is biblical.
Let me use this opportunity to read some comments. Well, a lot of them are on social media. On Twitter, Nana Kwaku David said, hey, Brandy, if Fanoform is not being nominated, then VGM is not being fair to DJ Azunto. Now, who says they want to be fair to people?
Oh, but they nominated it.
Even Fanoform is on
no,
Adom FM chat show for like 4 weeks now. She comments says Fanoform by DJ Azunto is.
But let's be clear. If the song is still banging now, this is the 3rd month of a new year. There shouldn't that thing where a song is banging from last year. And then, it sort of like the following year, which is this year, it crosses over and it's even bigger now. Then we tend to think that,
Again, and that is why that education is needed.
I get you. I get what you're saying.
Charlie.
So
we
whatever
forget,
we are doing,
we
it ended in,
December.
December.
Yes.
That's what we are working with. Whatever we are doing, ended in December.
At 95 volunteer says, please ask Robert, how come Enobani don't judge me on the hip hop and hip life category? I need some serious explanation. I don't understand what you're saying. Which one is? How come Enobani don't judge me on the hip hop? Please take your time and write it so we can. Ice Young says, please can you ask Mr. Robert for me, producer of the year, how did Phantom get in there? Because he's a Nigerian producer. I stand to be corrected.
The one is works with
the producer.
Camido.
Yeah, the producer comes. Being a producer is as a result of you working on a project, a Ghanaian-based song. So, for example, let's say a certain Vanilla, the focus is on him, but the category definition says that whoever produced the song from him. You understand? So then that is how the person comes in. So let's just say if Vanilla has a particular video and we are focusing on Vanilla because it's a Ghanaian, if the video comes from somebody else, by virtue of the fact that we've considered that video,
what's the name of the
Vanilla,
Nigerian director?
It's
So Omoy will be nominated. Is that the case?
If it's featured an artist who is eligible, then it means that automatically by virtue of the fact that that person has been considered, it extends to that person.
Okay, so George Quay says, well, hey, I can't type my thoughts because I'm driving. I don't agree with this news play, Charlie. Please ask Robert if it applies to all categories, including most popular song of the year.
Yes, it does. The split, 40-30.
Yes. Yeah,
it does. But the split is for the votes. So any category that has to be voted for, And if he says he doesn't agree, what does it mean? He doesn't agree.
Well, if
I'm just saying.